Hi, and welcome to our section on Neofreudian theories. Freud and his traditional psychoanalytic theory held sway until approximately 1912, when Freud's closest colleague and protege formally broke from the movement. Those from the psychoanalytic tradition who put forth their own independent, original ideas became known as Neofreudians. In reality, many of their philosophies were only slight variations on Freud's original framework. But it's noteworthy that Freud viewed any deviations as tantamount to heresy. Freud required absolute agreement among his followers, but tensions arose over key tenets of psychoanalytic theory. In particular, Neo-Freudians disagreed regarding the primacy of sexuality as a motivator, the importance of early childhood in shaping adult personality, and the structure and function of the unconscious mind. To this last point, Jung proposed an expansion of the unconscious mind to incorporate both the personal unconscious and the collective unconscious. The personal unconscious is the unconscious mind as Freud defined it. The collective unconscious is a part of our conscious psyche that we share with all of humanity. Jung argued that certain ideas or symbols, archetypes, originate from our shared ancestry and are passed down from generation to generation. The theory is that because some ideas are so prevalent and observed in such disparate cultures, they must be part of our core psyche and not dependent on personal experiences. For instance, regardless of our gender, we may have archetypes of femininity and masculinity as part of our collective unconscious. Jung theorized that we search for true love, but in reality, we're searching for the embodiment or reflection of our masculine or feminine archetype. Jung was heavily influenced by mythology, and this theory seems to fit the Greek myth that humans once had a different form, 2 heads, 4 arms, and 4 legs. But we were too powerful and threatened the gods. So Zeus cut us in half, and this condemned us to forever search the globe for our missing half, our soulmate. Adler disagreed with Freud when it came to core motivation. Whereas Freud saw sexuality and pleasure as primary drives, Adler proposed competency as the core drive. For Adler, perfection outweighed pleasure. He saw our need for a sense of competency, success, or superiority as key to understanding the goals and behaviors that shape who we are. Similar to Freud, he saw early childhood as a critical developmental period. Our early experiences influence our feelings of competency and therefore our personality. Everyone experiences a sense of inferiority due to the developmental and physical limitations of infancy. But as we mature, we have opportunities to develop a sense of mastery and superiority. But again, we see this sort of Goldilocks dilemma that parents face. Too much assistance and pampering robs a child of a chance to develop a sense of personal mastery. But too little help leaves the child feeling alone and neglected. But this seems to fit the theory of learning scaffolding that you see in modern developmental and educational disciplines. If someone does not develop a sense of competency or superiority, they may experience excessive feelings of inferiority, which Adler termed an inferiority complex. On the other hand, our strive for superiority may become excessive and we attempt to overcompensate for some perceived or imagined inadequacy. It's interesting that this idea has caught on in popular culture and is even the premise of some jokes. So, like Freud, Karen Horney sought to understand basic neuroses and anxieties that plague us. Unlike Freud, Horney saw basic neuroses as a result of unmet interpersonal needs rather than the result of childhood trauma or repressed id impulses. Horney argued that our natural and healthy need for affection and approval could become a neurotic need. When this happens, the need becomes much more intense and the person experiences great anxiety if the need is not met. Neurotic needs influence personality, potentially making the person overly compliant, detached, or aggressive. And these personalities and coping styles feed into neurotic interaction styles, leading to unhealthy interpersonal relationships. The overly compliant person may exhibit the moving toward people style, obsessively codependent, compulsively seeking affections. I thought of the Twilight kids for this one. Those who develop the aggressive style may move against people, using hostility as a defense. I thought of Darth Vader and maybe the Beast, but the Beast may fit better with the detached, moving away from people style. I'm not sure. These individuals would draw from others and maintain an illusion of total independence. I have Don Draper from Mad Men for this one. So we can see Horney's interaction styles reflected in these descriptions, and we can tie them to the three types of attachment styles: secure, avoidant, and anxious ambivalent. Most people have a secure attachment style, which is viewed as well-adjusted and typically predicts positive relationship outcomes. Around 25% of people will be classified as avoidant and approximately 10% as anxious ambivalent. These insecure attachment styles are correlated with dysfunctional relationship communication patterns such as contempt and criticism, and are a risk factor for divorce. But if you are taking that short quiz, just remember that this is only one question, so this isn't exactly a validated measure of your attachment style. And we may see changes over time or across developmental periods, although it is believed to be relatively stable. I just don't want people to get overly upset or anxious if maybe they fall into one of these insecure attachment styles. There could be maybe many reasons why you are answering this particular question in such a way. And doesn't necessarily mean that you're likely to suffer from some of these kind of problematic relationship styles that are discussed in your textbook.